Hi Gemini, this is your forecast for the month of February 2019. This is a general reading for Gemini Sun, Gemini Rising, or Gemini Moon. For a more rounded overview, please watch your rising and moon sign as well. So Gemini, this first week, you have a card that says you may be feeling a little bit down and out. Perhaps you're dealing with some kind of health situation. Maybe you're dealing with rejection. Maybe there's a lack of assets, or you're under some kind of financial strain. Maybe you're running out of money. There's a sense of uncertainty about your situation and feeling as if you've overextended in some way to the degree that you may now lack faith in your situation. It could be that, there was the pursuit of the material at the expense of the spiritual, or maybe you have some worries that are unresolved. You've been rejected, you're out in the cold. It could be for some of you that you're involved in a passionate situation, a relationship that has an element of danger to it. It could be, it could cost you in some way, emotionally or financially, were it to come out. You may be looking at issues about whether you're in a suitable relationship or not. Or there could be some financial situations that block love for you in some way. But whatever it is, a couple of things probably are not going as planned. Maybe you're dealing with inclement weather for some of you. Whatever it is, it feels very complicated. It feels like the emotions are tied up with the material. And maybe you don't see answers right now. Something is very complex and it's starting to wear on you and affect you emotionally and physically. It's undermining your health. You may be so distracted that you end up involved in an accident or just falling shy of some negative situation. In the positive, though, you could be learning a lesson about something, and maybe it's not as bad as you thought. Maybe you thought it was going to cost you more, and it's not as expensive materially, emotionally, physically. There's something that you're enchanted with. Now, either you've lost faith in that thing, or something hasn't gone as planned with regard to it, or that thing is a liability for you, but you want to bring something to life. You want to attract something that you want, and you may be trying to influence others. It could be that you're meeting with rejection, or there's a lack of faith, or again, you realize things are not as bad off as you had perceived. However, for some of you, you're down on your luck. And maybe you've been dealing with some kind of illusion about something and you need to take some steps. It could be that you're just tired of having to put out all the time. There's so many demands. Everybody wants a little piece of you, particularly people that love you. The family, loved ones are beginning to take a toll on you. And this is a cautionary card. This first week, you have to be careful about overextension in some way. You have to be careful of your health, your safety, your finances. Otherwise, you may be dealing with some negative consequences. So count your pennies carefully this week. It may not be a good week for you to borrow money or for you to loan money. And definitely this could be a week where you face some challenges due to some kind of delays. There's one thing after another that takes you off track. Everything you want to do appears to be a challenge. If you have some health issues, even figuring out what's wrong with you becomes a challenge. And for some of you, you're just overloaded. And now you're looking at where your professional obligations are perhaps hurting your personal life or vice versa. Now, the second week, you are trying to gain an advantage. Perhaps you're trying to gain an advantage over an illness, over some negative situations. You may be trying to overcome some kind of struggle. You want to make something happen. Or again, there are a lot of demands being made. You feel like you're under attack. You're under siege. And so you're either going to make something happen this week or you're going to let something happen. You're either going to dominate the situation or become dominated. You may find yourself in a losing battle. So this is about having some courage in spite of what you may be facing. You may need to stand up for yourself, or you're trying to beat the odds of a situation. And perhaps in some cases you don't even know what you're fighting. But this is going to be a week where you have to stand your ground. You got to push through something to get to the other side. And you may be in a position of advantage momentarily, but it requires that you're flexible, because there's some changing circumstances, again, that may tie to health, finances, or negative relationships. Something is going to come to a head this week, and you're going to feel the need to assert yourself, to get in touch with your conviction about what you're doing, where you're headed, what your sense of purpose is. It's important that you are flexible, that you are able to roll with the punches, because this is a week that provides you the opportunity to create some beneficial changes in your relationship. Although you are going to have to deal with some upsetting circumstances, but your ability to be flexible can help you work around that. Maybe you're trying to rally others to your side. Maybe, you were trying to supervise others, get them to come to your point of view. This is going to be a week of opportunity and challenge, a very karmic week. And whatever it is that you're trying to do, you're going to have to try just a little bit harder. The ante has gone up. You're going to have strong persistence to reach a goal, whether it's a small thing or something very complicated. It could be that you're tired. A lot of demands are made on you. People are looking for your advice, for your assistance. And because of that, you have to make all of these changes in your personal schedule. You have to rearrange your agenda, reconsider your priorities. So this is a week where you may need to take some action, and it's time to act. You may be trying to start something, and good timing could be important. Or you're realizing that you need to take the initiative, and how you go about trying to influence a situation is important. You're going to have to do it in a way where you're direct, you're clear, and yet people don't feel threatened or judged, especially if you're trying to motivate them or inspire them to do better, to work harder, without feeling as if you're criticizing and judging them. Now, some of you, again, those demands are being made on you, and you may feel as if no matter what you do, no matter what kind of effort you put in, you can't seem to make people feel happy. But it could be, again, your perspective. You're standing firm in a position that probably isn't working, and because of that, you end up taking your frustrations out on the wrong people. So you have to reconsider your position. By all means, if you are firm in what you believe, then stand up for yourself. Speak your truth. But in other cases, you may need to look at what it is that you're doing. Perhaps, there's indecision that's creating a problem, or uncertainty. You're being victimized. Maybe you don't have the nerve to face the confrontation because you feel vulnerable. Maybe you're running away from problems, or you're simply dealing with something because of your fear of rejection, fear of the future, and it causes you to feel overwhelmed, to feel daunted by a situation, and miss out on an opportunity. So this is a week of taking action to create the change that you want. And again, how you communicate, how you influence determines the outcome. Now, the third week, you have a major card. So this is an important week for you. This is the Emperor. For some of you, there's a strong tie to an Aries person. But for others of you, this is about power and who holds it. Maybe you're dealing with an authority figure. Could be a father, could be a boss, could be the company that you work for. This is a week where the demands and responsibilities are in focus. Maybe you're trying to gain an advantage financially or over the demands that are being made. You're having to assert yourself, or you're having to deal with authority figures. You may be dealing with, things that are in place that are the structure of society, the bank, the school, the company, the government, some kind of structure. And you're looking for that success, that respect, that stability, that achievement. So for some of you, you are trying to gain an advantage by laying the foundation of something. You're trying to create something that has some lasting value. Your security is what's at stake here. And in some cases, this is righting, the wrongs, creating order out of chaos. You may be focused on, standing up for yourself, becoming your own person. You may be trying to build your material wealth and stabilize. You may be trying to gain control of your physical strength. For some of you, you gain the advantage by getting a job promotion, or you establish a project that you've been working on, or, you're dealing with something where you're trying to make progress. In other cases, you may be facing the music to some negative choices that you've made. Maybe somebody doesn't want to grow up, or they're running away from their problems, or you simply haven't had the control or the discipline needed to make something happen for yourself. Some of you, you're dealing with something very complicated. Maybe you feel rejected or down and out because you're suffering with an inferiority complex. Or maybe you're dealing with somebody who's immature or rebellious. So there could be some issues connected to dependency, codependency, indecisiveness, somebody being very narrow-minded, somebody trying to impose their ideas on others. It could be somebody who is strictly focused on the letter of the law rather than the spirit of the law. So this could be a week where you get some help, some assistance from somebody who has some power to secure yourself. It could be a mentor, an advisor, somebody of influence, somebody of importance. You could be focused on employment or real estate, land, or your own personal, individual power. For others of you, this is about somebody who is, again, wielding their power in a negative way. It's tyranny. So control issues are going to probably raise your blood pressure a little bit this week. Your emotions are going to come up to the surface because you're feeling extremely protective about what belongs to you, your sense of security, and you're going to want to find out where you stand. You're going to want to get the truth in a situation. For some of you, you gain the advantage because you've been given more power and authority. Whatever it is, this is a week where you lay it all out there. You say what you feel, you're being more assertive, more direct. Even if that wasn't the original plan, a situation requires that you do so. And there could be some breakthroughs. Maybe you have some inspiration or some insight about something and it suddenly takes off for you. In other cases, there could be some unexpected news or a visitor. You will have to avoid being impulsive. This is Aries energy, and it may play out through a focus on career rewards, associations that you belong to, groups, clubs. It could be friendships, your dreams, your hopes, your desires. And you're putting a lot of mental energy towards something. And again, people are asking for your advice, your assistance, your input. And in spite of that, you're willing to meet these demands. There's something that you want to accomplish, and you're willing to do whatever it takes in order to make it happen. But for others of you, you're not on solid footing and you recognize your vulnerability. It's difficult for you to gain control of a situation. And because of that, because your emotions come up and you may feel anger or, your security is threatened, and you may give in to the temptation to push a little bit too hard to try to move something faster than it should be moved. And as a result, you create more problems, not less, by pushing. So it could be that you're just too intense about something, or you so believe in what you're doing that you become self-righteous and you end up socially and emotionally isolated. You're going to have to accept this week who's in control and who has the power. And you may have to deal with things that are beyond your control and not ruminate on that and create inner turmoil that plays back on your physical self. It could be that either you or someone you're involved with is taking control too far. Somebody is overly critical, they're power hungry, they're controlling, they're demanding, and maybe you have to defend yourself from that, or maybe you're trying to overpower others. So somebody's going to find out that they may not have the power that they think they do. Leadership is being challenged here, yours or that of others. Now, the last week, there's an opportunity, and perhaps it comes out of nowhere. It literally falls in your lap. Some form of assistance, a windfall, and maybe this is because you've been working really hard. Maybe you're trying to gain an advantage in your work or over some illness or negative situation. If this is physical, maybe you're, getting involved. Maybe you're working out. Could be some weightlifting, bodybuilding. You're focused on the physical. Maybe your physical nature. Maybe, this is about your sexuality, your virility, your passion. For others of you, this is about putting in that hard work to make something happen. And so you're focused on the material, the physical, creating a firm foundation. You're focused on winning, and maybe you're looking at some new opportunities in front of you. Could be you're starting something successful, you're getting something off of the ground, or you got that promotion or the salary increase. Or again, maybe you're looking at sensual enjoyment. Something is changing for you that hopefully gives you some kind of advantage, some kind of success, some kind of recognition. You are planting the seeds of something. This is a new beginning, either with regard to a love interest, you've got a lot of sex appeal. Maybe you're going to go out somewhere expensive or luxurious. In other cases, somebody may be trying to gain an advantage through a connection to somebody who has status, whether that's in society or with power or with money. It could be that you gain the advantage by joining forces with somebody to come up with a sound financial plan, or maybe you're going to work out together, you're trying to overcome some kind of setback. So this is about either, working with somebody or, being obsessed with something, the material or the physical side of a relationship. It could be that there's some lack of depth in something. It's just about appearances. And for some of you, you're trying to gain an advantage. Things have gotten off to a shaky start. You're in the early stages of something and you have some anxiety about where it's headed. Now, there are some opportunities coming for you to make some new connections, and perhaps in ways that happen ordinarily in your mundane situation. Maybe you're changing your job, or you're changing companies or departments, or your time schedule, or maybe you're making a purchase. Maybe it's something expensive, maybe a repair. For others of you, you gain an advantage by coming up with something that solidifies you in your connection with another person. Maybe you decide you want to expand your family, or you want to buy a new home or a car, or take that dream vacation. So something is connected to an opportunity and an invitation. It could be to socialize, it could be a new romance, a new friend, an opportunity, or you're realizing that you need to get out and mix with other people, that you've been lonely. So something is going to happen that gives you some choices, either to get something, to hold on to it, or to recapture your material and emotional stability. In other cases, though, you may be looking at some kind of setback because of your personal spending habits or too many professional obligations that get in the way of your relationship, that make it complicated, that dismantle it. Or keep you from even being attracted to other people because you don't have time. It could be that something you're dealing with is just not grounded, or you feel insecure about something because of your weight or your physical appearance or your financial situation. It could be that you're emotionally insecure. you're financially insecure, there's been some overindulgence, or somebody is failing to follow through with their promises. Maybe you built something that wasn't on a firm financial foundation. Maybe somebody offered you some help and then they withdraw it. Or maybe you're waiting on some money and that income is delayed, or you didn't get paid what you thought you should have. Could have been you made a bad investment, or you misused something, or somebody did that for you. Maybe your plans fall through. So you're looking at choices, where you stand, what the truth of a situation is. Now, this is all being driven by the Moon card. So it could be that there are issues connected to what provides your security at a very deep and instinctual level. This could be a maternal connection. Maybe you're dealing with mother figures, or the maternal part of yourself caring for others. This could be how you take care of your body, the nourishment you put in it, the nourishment that you feel emotionally connected with others. You may feel emotionally out of sync with others because of the demands being made. For some of you, this is about having some kind of emotional or psychological breakthrough, and you gain an advantage through your insight or some inspiration. Maybe you're a creative person and you have something that's very visionary or imaginative that you're trying to put on a solid foundation, and perhaps you get some assistance with that, or you're able to move ahead and make some progress with your vision. For others of you, though, this is about deception, something that you have failed to see, either because you've been deceived by others or you have been deceiving yourself. Maybe you've been participating in something that has limited you, or some self-defeating cycle due to your insecurities, your anxiety, your anger, your resentments that tend to crop up in the wrong place and at the wrong time. So you're having to closely examine something this month. Your investments, your emotional input, your connection to other people, to see if those things are valid, if they are what you think they are, or have you been falsely projecting. And this is also a month where there could be issues that come out suddenly that have been secretive, hidden, clandestine in some way, because whatever has been hidden is likely to be revealed this month. So something comes to light, and perhaps in a negative way that affects you emotionally or physically. You are likely to feel some sense of depression or irritability or distress, even though you may not know the root source of that. And that is because you are very linked to others during this month and your intuition is heightened. So you could be hearing some bad news about someone or from someone that you care about. And because of this anticipation for some negative news, it could affect your moods. You may suffer some kind of nervous upset or illness or ailment that is directly related to your level of stress. So this is a month where you need to find some kind of distraction, something that you can get lost in, where it takes you away from your problems, because the emotional and the material are very tied together, very complicated, and you may become overwhelmed by that. And it may be difficult for you to be objective or to not let your emotions get the better of you and influence your decisions. So this is a month to take care of you, to step away from allowing your financial concerns or the material to overwhelm you. Again, you're looking at perhaps emotional power, control over your emotions. And this is a month where there could be excitement, impulsiveness. You may be expressing intense emotion. Your actions may be directed by the unconscious. You could be hypersensitive. Issues are likely to relate to perhaps broadening your horizons, changing your perspective, tying up some loose ends, and getting some clarity to improve or repair something that connects to your daily life, your domestic life, improving your situation. And it's going to have to do with your emotions and your ambitions. and you're weighing your options about something where you don't have enough or where you need to make a choice regarding opportunity. You're trying to do what's best for yourself as well as what's best for others. But something about your situation is going to take longer to resolve to your satisfaction. There's a call to action coupled with being practical, being real to keep things in check. And so for you, there's some forward movement, there's some action, there's responsibility. So there's a strong move toward furthering your goals as long as you keep it real and keep it practical and see things for what they truly are. That should ensure your long-term success. All right, Gemini, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Let me know with your comments, and don't forget to subscribe. You can also support me on Patreon, join me on my blog for daily posts, on Instagram, and over at Vimeo.